Okay, so this tutorial continues on with the idea of the enclosed, but we're going to apply wind and a constraint. So let's start with that. If you didn't do past tutorials, we just basically uh, smooth mesh this guy by going, in polygons, mesh, and then it went to smooth, and in options, just method as 1 if you don't want that too much geometry, but 2 is the ideal. Then you have, just check out that you have as much geometry as in this case. To encounter interesting deformations afterwards. Afterwards, we went to end dynamics. I selected the object and I said MS enclosed. So this guy, I'm not going to do it because I did it already. This N with the gravity goes down. So if I change the animation length to 500 frames, so we give it time to deform and not 24 as by default occurs. And then I'm going to say play, and you will have it takes time because it has to calculate everything, and it takes the deformation as if it was a cloth. You can leave it as long as you want, and it will deform accordingly to a cloth system. So for example, if we stop it here and we get closer to the resulted by pressing 5, you see that it's deforming little by little. Okay, so the next step is wind. How do we put a wind here? So we can select the N, and basically that's we can select the N or the object, and in the object it will be one of the options. Since we apply the closed system, you see we're going to see that here, and the nucleus, and that nucleus is the same as we press the N, and you see nucleus 1. So we're going to do it by pressing the object and going to in the attribute editor to nucleus, and we're going to see here, I'm going to make this bigger. You can see that gravity is actually with 9.8. You can increment that so this falls like strongly. You can change here the wind. So now it's coming down naturally because there's no wind factor in the nucleus. It's 0. If we set that to whatever big number, we press play, it should go. It should have a feeling of wind. In what direction? In the wind direction, which is 1, 0, 0. Remember, 1 being X, the middle guy being Y, which is vertical, and the third one being Z. Okay, so if we leave it at 1, 0, 0, will be like in this direction in the X. So it's going to go pretty much from here to here, the wind, with the strength or speed of 37.4. Let's see what happens, and there you go. It's quite slow, but it's deforming according to this speed. So that would be something, for example, why not to stop in whatever point and be excited about in terms of deformation. I think it's going to get obviously too crazy. So I encourage you guys more to stop it in a point where you still recognize the shape, but I'm going to do it for this shake differently. I'm going to go, because I remember I had in the outliner a plane. Oh, it's here. So I'm going to take it up until it kind of touches a little bit, so I can render it afterwards. There it is. I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to render this and pause it. Let me go to perspective. I'm going to turn on the window gate for the visualization of the camera, and I'm going to render this guy and pause it so we can do the constraints afterwards. Okay, so here's a great example of we lost our original shape, but anyways, quite interesting. So you should save it. This will be another deformation for your collection of enclosed. Okay, great. Let's do the constraint. I'm going to go back in time by pressing this button, and it goes to the original position. And I'm going to get rid of the gate for now, pressing this button. And let's get the... Let's wait for the motorcycle to leave. There we go, the great guys. And we're gonna do a constraint now. So we know that the wind is coming in this direction to this object because we have applied it. Another thing we can do is as simple as selecting the object, right click, vertex, and I'm going to select a number of vertex that I want. In this case, I want these ones in this corner, for example, and I'm going to go in end dynamics to end mesh, to end constraint, and say transform. Okay, immediately these guys turn like that, and be careful with the transform. Sometimes it gives trouble if you don't do it correctly the first time. So just just do it correctly, I guess. Is the message. So this is gonna be constrained. Basically, it's not gonna move any of these points. They're gonna stay exactly as they are. We could have selected like less points, and the rest is gonna be affected by enclose with the win included. So let's see how it deforms in time now by playing it. There you go. You see how everything is moving except this guy. So it's somehow gonna feel like there's like a tide here, and the rest gonna be as a claw, as a sock, kind of a feeling, which is nice. This is the way to, for example, do flags. Imagine flags being constrained to a line of points in one side, no? So there's gonna be a moment of, okay, I wanna place because it's too crazy, but I like it, so I'll leave it a little more, and you see it will go, and it will go whatever in time, and having the wind feeling to it, for good or for bad. Okay, I should have stopped it before, but I'm gonna leave it and see how it keeps on moving. And the wind, of course, doesn't stop. There's a way of giving a script to say I want a change in the wind factor or the wind speed, but we're not gonna do that. We'll do that later on. Okay, so I'm gonna stop this. And it's probably difficult to render, but why not? Let's try it. I'm gonna take the plane and take it down to the moment where this guy's disappears. There it is. So I'm gonna turn on the window gate and actually try to get closer like that. Why not? And make a render of this. This could be another deformation for you guys. I'm gonna pause it, see the result. Okay, so that's quite great. Now we have to think of, I'm gonna close this, of all the potentials of this. I'm gonna go back in time, so it starts from the beginning, and I'm gonna get rid of the gate. I'm gonna just, you have this constraint. You can select as many points, shift another point, shift another points, all at the same time, and have constraints, several areas of constraint. Let's think of ending of branches in a tree, or ending of legs in a chair. Those are messages directly sent to some of the students. And we can also do things such as, you know, selecting the bottom and making the gravity change to vertical instead of downwards, or vertical down, vertical up. So we can say no winds, or just a little bit, so it gives a hint. And think of possibilities for tower generation components or geometries, etc. So this has many potentials in terms of deforming geometry in a very interesting way. I think I'm going to stop there, and that will be the end of enclosed. You should have 4 images and 4 files of enclosed that you should put both in the poster grid and the poster, and select one of those, hopefully for your most beloved geometry, to do a poster of one image. It could be one of these, I don't know. Okay, that's the end of it. Done.